Boom. We are live. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining us for a special live concerning Classic and Cincere Pettus, our California City boys, went missing December 21st of 2020. We got an update. And it's a good update to some degree. Welcome, everyone. My goodness, we've got some folks in the chat coming in. Thank you so much for joining us. Double Rainbow holding it down. Much love to you. And yes, I do get your emails. I haven't received any recently, but shoot me a test email. Shoot me another email just in case. I love hearing from everyone. Much love to you, Double Rainbow holding it down. Nisha Smith is in the house. Miss Nisha Smith, thank you for joining us. Miss Lorraine Muhammad, Queen Muhammad is in the house. I wanted to jump on here this afternoon, kind of beat the traffic on YouTube, you know what I mean? Because it seems like around this time, everybody starts going live. And I wanted to make sure that we got some coverage for our boys. So thank you for joining us. Miss Lorraine Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon you and yours. Thank you for joining us. Nisha Smith is in the house. Joel Jackson is in the house. Miss Stephanie Paul is in the house. Carrie Lawson. Carrie. I made you smile. I know I did. Carrie Lawson is in the house. Welcome. Miss Marley 13. Much love to you, Miss Marley. And yes, I did get your beautiful appreciation. Thank you. You surprise me all the time. All the time. I'm not live, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm putting together casework, and all of a sudden I get a email notification that someone sent me a gift. And I said, I wonder who this is. And sure enough, it was Marley 13. Much love to you. Thank you so much for that. I truly, truly appreciate that. That's what keeps the channel going. That's why I'm not monetized. This channel will not be monetized. The thing about it is that I realize when I go to other people's channels and I'll catch up on their lives or their videos, commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial. Oh, come on. You know, I said, how can they interrupt a good broadcast with commercials? But that's what happens when you monetize. Here, that ain't gonna happen. Here, you can go to any one of my videos and play the video in its entirety without commercial interruption. That was one of the reasons why I didn't want to monetize my channel, because after a while of those commercials being embedded in the videos, you lose interest. You kind of get sidetracked. Something else happens, and then you move on, and you could miss the message. So I make sure that the content we delivers the message as best as possible without any commercial interruptions. There's one thing I do like about not being monetized. And so that's why I'll have a Cash App or a PayPal to cover that. And the viewer, you can decide and make that choice when you're ready to. And much love goes out to Leslie B., who holds me down, Oklahoma, who holds me down. Obviously, Miss Marley 13, who holds me down. I believe I had received two others I will get to, but I want to continue welcoming the room. Yes, so thank you, Miss Marley 13. Much love to you. We've got RJ from Conversations Living Room, content creator in the house. If you're not subscribed to RJ, we'll have his link in the chat room. Once we get situated, I know Double Rainbow has been awesome dropping links to all the channels and all the content creators that I do follow and enjoy promoting. So, Mr. RJ, thank you for being with us. Tanya M., much love to you. She's always here. I wonder what John Q's going to talk about today. Oh, he's got the boys. All right, let's get that update, John. Let's go. Let's get to work. Let's do it. Tanya M., thank you so much for being here. My goodness, who else we got in here? Jackie Barty is in the house. Jackie, how are you? Good for you to join us. Angel P is in the house. Angel, thank you for being here. My goodness, Shirley, good afternoon, is in the house. Miss Stardust is in the house. Miss Lynn is in the house. Much love to you, Miss Lynn. Love spending my Sunday afternoon here. Hello, mods and chat. Hope you all had a great weekend. Miss Lynn, thank you. Thank you for being here. She's been following this case very closely, too. I've had Miss Lynn, aka adoptionscams.com, join me on, I believe, a couple of lives where we went in depth concerning mental health of the boys. Thank you, Miss Lynn, for joining us. So much, my goodness. Miss Justice 1111 is in my house in blue, holding it down. Much love to you, Miss Justice. Welcome. All right, who else we got in here? My goodness, all showing love. Ronnie for Missing Persons PNW is in the house. Okay, hello, friends. I pay for YouTube Premium. Don't have commercials on any channel. Well, good. Well, that's good information. Get the premium. You pay for something, you better get the best, right? Pay for that premium. Thank you, Ronnie, for Missing Persons, for joining us this afternoon. Wise old lady is here. She's popping up. Welcome, wise old lady. Welcome. I want to welcome you all, as always. And as the room gets bigger and bigger, know how we do it. We lay it out and get to work. So we've got an update concerning our California City boys. And I was waiting for the information, but it was already out there. I hadn't had time to dig around for it, but we do have an update. To some degree, most people will look at it as, oh man, and then to another degree, it does hold a positive. I'll be able to go over that information with you as we proceed. But it is good. I like what's happening so far to this case. Because when you do due diligence to a case like this, you'll want to get it right and you'll want it rock solid. And so I believe that they're making sure that the information that's currently going into the DA's office, along with the courts now, is rock solid. Aurora, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Aurora. Okay, so we got to get busy here. I started maybe 2 minutes early because I started getting notifications from other channels starting. I said, here we go. They must know I'm going live. So let me jump in here real quick and get it going. All right. So first off, we got to cover the channel because I will be sharing information based on research from the internet, YouTube, and other places that put together this live this afternoon to give you this update. So with that said, let me just go ahead and put a copyright disclaimer down in the chat under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Under this section of the Copyright Act, allowance is made for fair use for the purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And the content that we're going to be going over today is of various different sources that I've been tapping into to bring to you this information in today's live. Miss Vida Loca, mi vida loca is in the house. ¿Cómo está usted? And so, this is what it's about this afternoon. Our California City boys, Classic and Cincere Pettus, aka Orrin and Orson West, who went missing December 21st of 2020 out of California City, California. A story that the adoptive parents had told us started on the 22nd of December, shortly 2 days after the boys was reported missing. And according to that press conference that they had in front of their home at that time in the afternoon, they talked about what happened. I'm not going to play that video because we've heard it literally 1,000 times, maybe even more. But we understand the gist of what they were talking about. They were telling us a story about how the boys went missing. An unbelievable story at that. We scrutinized that story here on this channel, as well as every other content creator out there that's covered this story. Yes. Natty Girl 513, welcome. And we have Pigeon Mac. How you doing? Welcome. And we're just getting started. And so when they told their story to WKGET News and other news reporters out there, it was amazing what they told them. And they told them in their own words. And they started telling us exactly what happened, what they did, what time it happened around, and how the boys went missing. They definitely, as Jacqueline West had mentioned, definitely may have been picked up by somebody. We know that not to be true. Tossing wood, going in and out of the house. The boys are there when I go in, and when I come out, the boys are gone. We found that not to be true. We found out a lot about their narrative not to be true. 13 months later, they end up in court. They end up in custody, standing before a judge. Thank goodness. Because their story didn't hold, and it took the DA, police officials, law enforcement, almost 13 months to come back with a grand jury indictment and charges pressed against these two individuals, Trezell and Jacqueline West. Monsters. That's right, Shirley. They are monsters. Indeed, they are. And so what we're going to do this afternoon is just bring everyone up to speed, to tell everyone, share with everyone, if you're just coming into this case as we're revealing it, share with everyone exactly what the district attorney has laid down to the grand jury. All of it. All of it. And the grand jury came back with their first indictment in the early month of March of this year. And that indictment held 2 counts of second-degree murder. 2 counts of second-degree murder blew me away. I said, there you go. There you go. Now somebody's digging for the truth. 2 counts of child cruelty, which is a felony in the utmost, and 2 counts of a false police report. She also goes on to explain exactly, specifically, how those charges came about from the grand jury, what they were able to lay out at that time so far, with the grand jury coming together, looking at the direct evidence as well as circumstantial evidence in this case, and came back with an indictment. So what we're going to do this afternoon is just take just a little bit of this press conference just to refresh exactly what she said. And then we're going to come back and talk a little bit about what she said, because what she says here holds the key to this case. And we'll talk about the second part as we proceed. So let me go ahead and do this, and let's get started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. The man above, salute to you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Cynthia Zimmer is the Kern County District Attorney that's handling this case, along with a team of other attorneys that she surrounded herself with. And she's about to tell us exactly, with specifics, as best as she can, without tipping her hand, what the case is all about. Let's go to work. Now, the other thing here too, I want to point out, there may be just a few commercial interruptions because obviously WKGET wants to monetize their channel too. Anyway, we'll try to avoid tapping into those commercials to try to bring you this whole thing in its entirety. I'm not going to play the whole thing. We're just going to cover some of the most important facts about what she has brought to the press conference, and we'll go from there. So with that said, let me just make sure that we are on. Type of one for a sound check, and then we're good to go. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Texas Gal, welcome. Miss Smith, Leslie Smith, welcome. My goodness, y'all are just coming in here left and right. Cat Eyes is in the house. Izzy is in the house. Free Game is in the house. Thank you for joining us. We're going to kick it up a notch. Like I said, the room is going to start to swell. I appreciate that. We've been longing for an update. We're about to get one this afternoon. So with that said, thank you so much for the sound check. We are doing good. Doing good. Natty Girl is in the house. All right. Rock and roll. Here we go.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia Zimmer. I am Kern County's District Attorney. I have information about Orrin and Orson West, the two young boys who were reported missing from California City 14 months ago. On December 21st of 2020, Orrin was 4 years old and Orson was 3 years old. Their adoptive parents in California City, Trezell West and Jacqueline West, reported to the California City Police Department that the boys had disappeared from their backyard. The California City Police Department began a search for the boys in the area around their home. After a period of time, the FBI joined in the search, as did the California Highway Patrol and search and rescue from the Kern County Sheriff's Department.
Let this soft mineral melt in your mouth to rebuild your gums and teeth, and never need a dentist again.
The community also came out to assist in looking for the boys, but to no avail. They were not located. 1 week later, crucial information came to light that necessitated the involvement of the Bakersfield Police Department and the Kern County District Attorney's Office. Law enforcement worked diligently, hundreds of hours in the next 12 months, looking for the boys. This morning, I'm saddened to announce that the investigation has revealed that Orrin and Orson West are deceased. The investigation has also revealed that they died 3 months before their adoptive parents reported them missing. However, I am pleased to announce that this week, the Kern County Grand Jury indicted Trezell and Jacqueline West, the adoptive parents, for the murder of Orrin and Orson West. The indictment charges 5 counts. The first count is murder, charges them both with murder, with the victim being Orrin West. The second count charges murder, with the victim being Orson West. The third count charges felony child abuse against the person of Orrin West. The fourth count charges child abuse against the person of Orson West. And the fifth count charges false report of an emergency. Naturally, the first 2 counts carry the most time in state prison, murder. It is charged as murder in the second degree. That carries 15 years to life, but with 2 victims, the potential penalty or the maximum possible penalty, if convicted, is 30 years to life for each defendant, Trezell and Jacqueline West. Now, the grand jury indictment is a formal charging document. and we followed a process in charging them before the grand jury, and that was the district attorney requested that the grand jury convene to hear evidence regarding an indictment that we presented them. The district attorney's office then presented information to the grand jury, and the grand jury found there was sufficient evidence to hold Trezell and Jacqueline West responsible for these murders, and they returned what was called a true bill. So oftentimes we call it they were indicted, but what they did is returned a true bill on the indictment. Department 1 Superior Court judge issued warrants for the arrest of the defendants, and they were arrested last night at about 7 p.m. in Kern County. They are currently in the Kern County Jail waiting for an arraignment on the indictment, which will be tomorrow. There will be no preliminary hearing in this case because an indictment is a substitute for a preliminary hearing, and this case will proceed directly to trial. The announcement of an indictment in this case probably raises a lot of questions about the facts of the case and what you and the public would like to know. I'm not permitted to go over the facts of the case in this case, but there is something that I'd like to discuss because the facts of the case are to be what we produce in the jury trial, because we want both the prosecution and the defense to have a fair trial in this case. However, one of the questions that I'm sure you would like to know is, have the bodies of Orrin and Orson been found? And the answer to that is no, they have not been found. However, I would like to emphasize that the fact that law enforcement have not found their bodies does not preclude a murder prosecution. As a matter of fact, there have been many hundreds of what we call no-body homicides prosecuted across the United States successfully, and even no-body homicides have resulted in murder convictions in Kern County. I'd like to introduce the people who are standing here with me today, who have been crucial in bringing this case forward. Eric Smith is the person to my right here. Eric Smith is the supervisor of the homicide unit at the DA's office. Next to him is Brian Estep, also a homicide prosecutor in the DA's office. And these two gentlemen are the people from my office who presented the evidence to the grand jury. And this grand jury hearing began 3 months ago in December of 2021. Mr. Smith, would you like to come say a few words?
On behalf of myself and, of course, Deputy District Attorney Brian Estep, I would like to thank the allied agencies who worked tirelessly throughout this investigation. That includes also the Kern Regional Crime Lab and also the DA investigators in this case. Kern County law enforcement worked together at first in an attempt to locate Orrin and Orson West. And as that continued, it turned into the investigation into the disappearance and ultimately the homicide of the two boys. The lead investigative agencies, Bakersfield Police Department, California City Police Department, they worked tirelessly throughout the course of this over a year since this occurred to follow up on leads and complete the investigation. Investigation that was continued even throughout the grand jury hearing. The indictment itself took approximately 3 months. Over 50 witnesses testified during the course of the indictment. Much of those witnesses' testimony was extremely emotional as it related to this case, but that's to be expected from a case that involves the murder of two innocent children. Thank you.
Watch this. I can show you how to get the sweetest deals online when you shop from major.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. To my right, to my left, are two chiefs of the lead agencies in this case that did most of the work. Bakersfield Police Chief Greg Terry and California City Police Chief John Walker.
So there she gave you a summary, at least a partial summary, of the charges being brought against Trezell and Jacqueline West. I want you to listen carefully to all and every single word that's uttered at this press conference, because it does give some tells here as to what circumstantial and direct evidence they have. I want to welcome Too Raw is in the house. I see you, brother. Balance is in the house. Hello, Miss Balance. How are you? And as they begin to break this down to bring everyone up to speed as to what the true bill indictment is all about in this case, they're educating us also as to how they are going to be moving forward in this case, and with the direct lead personnel, law enforcement personnel from the Bakersfield Police Department, also from the California City Police Department, which will now step to the podium, just to give a summary as to their involvement in this case and how the case evolves. So I just wanted to pause for a second here to welcome everyone that's new, that's joining us this afternoon for a special California City, Orson and Orrin West, aka Classic and Cincere, how their case is moving. I wanted to bring you that update. So let us proceed with this press conference.
Chief Terry, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And this is not the outcome that we and so many had hoped and prayed for over the last year. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of Orrin and Orson, who, with this news today, their worst fears have been realized. I want to express my pride and appreciation to our homicide team, who invested so much personally and professionally to find the truth in this investigation. We now realize that the search for the boys began after the real tragedy had already occurred. But it is the work and diligence of the investigators, our partners, California City Police Department, the FBI, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and many, many other law enforcement agencies, community members, our own community members, and members of the public. That diligence, that refusal to give up is why we are here today. I also want to express my appreciation to our district attorney, Cindy Zimmer, for her leadership and for her commitment to the safety of our families here in Kern County, no matter how difficult the case. We also would not be here without the teamwork and support of the district attorney staff. They provided invaluable support to our investigators, a perspective and advice and counsel along the way. And again, we would not be here without that support as well. And the last thing I would say is this is not a resolution in this case. And there will not be a resolution completely in this case until these boys are brought home.
Thank you, Chief Terry. Chief Walker, would you like to address the audience?
Good morning. Thank you for being here. Let me emphasize, first and foremost, this is a tragedy, an absolute tragedy that was reported in my city, that two small boys could be killed by their parents. But I do have to say how proud I am of my department from the second we got the call until we brought in so many resources, and we're very grateful for that. But the second we got the call, we were on scene. We began to work it and look for these kids. And we had so many agencies involved, Kern County Sheriffs, the Search and Rescue, CHP came with their helicopter to help us. But the citizens of Cal City came out in numbers to look for these kids. And it began to grow to the outlying communities and eventually across the nation. We were getting people who were interested and they wanted to know where these kids were as well as us. And then eventually Chief Terry and the Bakersfield PD came in to help us out, and they've been instrumental to make this happen. So I want to thank all those people again for helping us to try to come to some kind of resolution with this. But again, the bottom line is we have two small boys that we believe are no longer here that are dead, and that's terrible. But again, I want to thank the district attorney, Cindy Zimmer, for being brave and diligent to push this forward and actually bring this case to the surface. So we will push forward. We haven't given up, and we'll continue to give them any kind of help that they would need in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Walker. While the defendants in this case, Trezell and Jacqueline West, are presumed innocent, the securing of a grand jury indictment is a major step in ensuring that there will be justice for Orrin and Orson. This case has tugged at the heartstrings of people in my office and in law enforcement and in this community. It is a horrific tragedy that these precious little boys had to lose their lives. But I want to thank everyone who was involved in this case, the law enforcement officers. It must have been so difficult for them who searched for Orrin and Orson, the community members that came out and helped search, and then the community members that just continue to care about what happened to them. So if you have any questions, those are the end of my comments, but keep in mind there are ethical restraints as far as what we can talk about prior to the trial in this case.
Well, let me try something.
Thank you. I think he had his hand up first.
Thank you, District Attorney. How can we confirm that the boys had died 3 months prior to their reported disappearance if bodies haven't been found? Can you kind of explain how that works?
No, I cannot, but I can tell you the facts in court will show that we were able to prove that to the grand jury that the boys have died, that they were murdered. And we did that through a combination of direct and circumstantial evidence. And the grand jury was convinced that they were dead. Thank you.
Given that you say that they died 3 months before this was reported, and the fact that Trezell and Jacqueline lived in Bakersfield and then moved to California City, Chief Walker, do you believe, can anybody say whether Orrin and Orson were ever in California City to begin with?
Mr. Gaspar, that's a good question, and that's something we're going to answer during the trial.
Can't say more than that.
We cannot go into the facts of the case.
As far as trying a case without a body, because since I assume you don't know where the boys are. Is that right?
We don't know where their bodies are. That's what I said.
Okay, so you don't know where their bodies are. What will that present kind of a difficulty in trying this case without a body? Public out there has, at least some that I've run into, say, well, they can't try somebody without a body. How are they going to do that?
As I explained in my earlier statements, no body homicides are tried all the time. And we have evidence that was sufficient to convince the grand jury, and we have sufficient evidence that we believe will convince a jury that they are not alive. And we have evidence.
Have you tried a case here without a body before?
Yes, we have tried to successfully, at least that I know off the top of my head. I have those names, the Leonard Bryce Thomas case and the Daniel Rhodes case, successful murder convictions. And there may be more, but those are two that I can remember. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about why second-degree murder in this case rather than first?
No, I cannot. I can't really discuss the theory of liability in the case because that would involve the facts.
And then also, I'm so sorry, one more question. Can you talk a little bit about why you guys decided to go down the grand jury route and attain that rather than the average procedure?
I've done over 20 grand jury indictments myself throughout my career. It is something that we commonly do on homicide cases, which involve calling live witnesses. And also sometimes we do it because there has to be a little bit of starting and stopping regarding scheduling. A preliminary hearing is continuous. You don't have start and stops. And at a grand jury hearing, you can do 2 days of testimony 1 week, 1 day, so there are a variety of reasons that we considered in this case. And a lot of, if you look back on some of our high-profile homicide cases, most of them did go to grand jury. Yes.
We have unconfirmed reports that a white RV was pulled over by law enforcement yesterday at Highway 43 and Highway 58. And some were saying this was possibly where Giselle and Jacqueline were taken into custody. Are you able to confirm that? And also near Potomac Avenue, the neighborhood where Giselle and Jacqueline have been living with his parents after they moved back from California City, there was a helicopter with a searchlight going over around, I want to say 7, 8 o'clock last night. Can you confirm that that was looking for Giselle and Jacqueline?
The defendants, Trezell and Jacqueline West, were taken into custody last night around 7 p.m. by the Bakersfield Police Department in western Kern County.
How did that happen? How did you find out that the Winnebago that was there? We had spotted it earlier in the day in Edison, and then it was the same Winnebago that you guys found yesterday. How can you say what tipped you off that the Winnebago was there at Enos Lane and Highway 58?
No. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
What does this say about like the vetting and background process for adopting parents here in Kern County?
Ma'am, it's not the job of the district attorney to talk about those types of things. It's the job of the district attorney to look and see if a crime was committed and bring those guilty parties to justice. Yes.
Are the defendants cooperating, and have they admitted to any wrongdoing?
I can't discuss, that is absolutely prohibited. Any type of statements by the ethical canons that attorneys are required to follow. I won't comment on the evidence specifically. I won't comment on statements.
Are
Yes.
these the only arrests that are going to be taking place in this case? Is there plans to bring in anybody else or to arrest anybody else involved in this?
If I had those plans, I probably wouldn't tell you, but I can't tell you anyway. It's a good question. I don't mean to be trite, but I'm not going to comment on that. Yes.
Sorry, I do
Go
have
ahead.
one more. We do know that Orson and Oren were 2 of 4 adopted kids. They also had another 2 biological kids. Any idea of the whereabouts of the other 2 adopted kids and the biological kids as well? And were there any signs or prior signs of prior abuse in the household with the other 4 kids?
I'm not able to discuss that, but it's not like the other 4 are missing. They are in the care and custody of the Child Protective Services. Yes.
Were Trezell and Jacqueline West under surveillance for a considerable amount of time before you made an arrest?
I cannot answer that. I mean, I know, but I shouldn't be answering that. Yes.
Have you spoken to the biological parents of Oren and Orson since you learned of this news? And if so, what was their reaction to this finding?
Well, Mr. Smith has had contact with some of the biological family in this case, and I would have to defer to him about that. Our office, grand jury proceedings are secret. They are confidential. They are not to be revealed until after an arrest is made in this case, and in any case. So we will, now that there has been an arrest made, we'll be able to talk to the family of the victims more so. But even before that, we weren't able to really go into detail with them, although I can tell you we have had contact with the family.
Was it a unanimous vote with the grand jury to bring forth the indictment?
I don't think that's something that can ever be revealed. I think that's confidential information in the hands of the grand jury. I can tell you that there was sufficient number to do it, or it wouldn't have been a valid indictment. But whether it was unanimous or not unanimous, I don't know, because they don't tell us.
Can you say which legal counsel will represent the suspects?
They will be arraigned tomorrow in court, and if they cannot afford counsel, they will be appointed, or if they want to retain counsel, they can do that. So we don't know. We won't know in the criminal matter who their attorneys will be until tomorrow morning.
How do you guys plan to bring this news to the biological family? Obviously, you know, we're saying you guys have given confirmation that both boys are diseased as well, but there's no concrete evidence showing this. It sort of feels what's been going on for almost the past year, where the family and the community has sort of been left without any answers. And that constant question has been brought up, where are the boys? And I mean, you're saying there's concrete or, confirmation that they are deceased, but how will you guys?
It's called a jury trial, sir.
Okay.
That's where we will prove that they are deceased. And we have, and the grand jury has already found that they are deceased, and we have presented evidence that. As far as the news that went to the biological family, I think the news did that last night. I think they were.
Okay. So I wanted to just jump in here for a quick second. And I think Miss Justice had asked the question, so is this from today? No, this is from March 2nd of this year. This was the press conference held by District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer in regards to the California City boys. I wanted to bring folks up to speed because we sometimes, not all the time, sometimes have the tendency to forget what has already been covered. So this is sort of a refresher direct from the district attorney herself in regards to the charges that are being brought against Trezell and Jacqueline West for the murder of Classic and Cincere Pettus, aka Orson and Orrin West, during the time that they lived with their adoptive parents. Okay, so with that said, I wanted to come out of this. I wanted to welcome those that are just joining us, bring everyone up to speed as to what the district attorney is now laid out on the table from the grand jury, who came back with a true bill to indict Trezell and Jacqueline West. Now, let me give you the update. According to the news source that I've been following, the trial was supposed to start July 25th. I was under the impression this baby was already in motion from my last live. I did a little bit of digging, and I had found out that there was a request and motion made by the defense attorneys. Let me bring those dudes up. There was a motion made by Jacqueline and Trezell's defense attorneys in this case, and made a motion for continuance. Okay, so what was the continuance about? Not having enough time to go over the voluminous volume of information and evidence of the case. So the judge granted them a continuance to come back at a later date to begin trial proceedings. Okay. It tells me something. They are not starting this case on time tells me something. What does it tell you? Let's get some ideas here. Any thoughts of what that tells you about the defense attorneys in this case? Take a look at the chat here. Yeah. Did one parent kill them both and the other is covering up? I heard that one of the bio children was forced to help. Question, is that true? They finalized the adoption in April. Wonder why they decided to adopt. Good question, Miss Lynn. Very good questions, plural. Very good questions. Do they share attorneys? Very good question there too. I believe that if the attorneys, the defense attorneys were assigned, they were assigned based upon the counts that were involved, the 5 counts that the district attorney, Cynthia Zimmer, had laid out during this press conference. And whenever there is individual counts pertaining obviously to the boys here, are going to pertain individually to the individuals involved. So that would lead me to believe that Jacqueline has her own attorney and Trezell has his own attorneys. Hence, we have three representing the two. The other thing, too, that leads me to believe the reason why they made a motion for continuance, which was granted, is the fact that we've got a lot of moving parts here. We've got an individual counsel representing individuals. Then we've got those individual counsels that have to correspond back to the DA's office, correspondence, written correspondence, that is, notices, verification of notices, mailing notices, proof of service if they had someone deliver directly, all of these various different documents that are going in between these two offices, or three offices at that, to these attorneys. So it has not come to light as of yet whether the court has assigned, based on affordability of legal representation, whether the court has assigned these attorneys directly to Trezell and Jacqueline, or whether they had independently went out and sought private attorneys. I wanted to make that clear. So they asked for a continuance, and the trial date has been moved up to October the 24th of 2020 to give these attorneys time to understand the case, get the case under their belt. And as I've said in a previous live, this is a tough case for the defense. It is a very tough case for the defense. And I say that only because another indictment had came down just recently, I believe last month. An additional grand jury indictment came down to the DA's office from the grand jury in reference to involuntary manslaughter charges, also being involved in this case. Let me take you there for a second. If you're just joining us, welcome, 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 welcome. I'm going to share with you the article which was updated. So we have the receipts. Everyone loves receipts. I do too. Now let's go over this receipt. This was put out by KGET.com news covering the boys. The update was July 15th of 2020 at 8:24 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It says here, Bakersfield, California. The couple charged in the death of Orrin and Orson West had their murder trial pushed back to October during a hearing Friday morning. Trezell West, 35, and Jacqueline West, 32, are now scheduled for trial October 24th. The previous date was July 25th. The postponement was made over the objection of the Wests. Timothy Hennessy, representing Trezell West, told the court the October date is the earliest he'll be ready as he needs to review the voluminous amount of discovery. Now, what does that mean? It's a lot of circumstantial and direct evidence that was handed down by the grand jury to the DA's office to indict. You can imagine what they laid on the table, sufficient enough for the grand jury to decide to indict. under the first indictment. The bodies of Orrin 4 and Orson 3 at that time have not been found. Prosecutors have not revealed the manner in which they believe the boys died. A gag order issued in March bars prosecutors and the West's attorneys, investigators, and court staff from speaking about the case. Among the charges against the West is the allegation that they induced, and here is that second indictment, they induced a minor to assist in committing a crime, suggesting at least one of the West's other children witnessed what happened and will be called to testify. Let me read that again, because according to the second indictment, which recently came down, this is part of what that indictment consisted of. Among the charges against the West, which is the second-degree murder charge, the child abuse charge, and the false police report, is the allegation that they induced a minor to assist in committing a crime, suggesting at least one of the West's other children witnessed what happened and will be called to testify. Yes, that is a huge smoking gun. Chi-Town Fit Queen, you said it right there. Now, on the first indictment, there were parts of it leading to another party, but was not totally confirmed or identified as such. It was there, it was present, but the grand jury at the same time continued to work in order to bring an additional charge of involuntary manslaughter or manslaughter into the second indictment. Because now a minor is involved in the commission of a crime, knew exactly what happened and how everything unfolded. That is a big smoking gun. Now, the eldest, I believe, was 10 or 11, close to that age. So, yes, that tells you a lot right there. Prosecutors allege Orrin and Orson were killed about 3 months before the West reported them missing from their California City home on December 21st of 2020. Dozens of searches have been conducted and digging performed at sites in California City and Bakersfield. A criminal protective order bars the West from seeing their two biological children and remaining adoptive children. Prosecutors sought the order out of concerns the West would influence the children about the criminal case. And that is the end of the updated news article pertaining to the new court date, which is scheduled for October 24th of 2020. The West's attorneys motion for continuance because of the voluminous amount of information and evidence the case pertains to. They're slow. That's what it tells me. They must be small firms. And if they're working pro bono based upon being a court assigned attorney, they're going to be real slow. Does that help or does that hurt the case? Some of you may ask yourselves. And it does hurt, because a judge can only grant but so many continuances for an attorney to be prepared to go to trial. Especially a murder trial, especially of Classic and Cincere Pettus in this case because they've waited and worked for so long, well over a year, to bring the parts, pieces, stories, and people together to bring it to this level as to where it is right now. I would too, Miss Lynn. I would love to be working in the back office of this case. So I wanted to give you the receipt as to where this information came from. And also as a bonus, and thank you so much for joining us. Kim Holmes, I see you in there. Mary Gannett is in here. As I said before, Chi-Town Fit Queen is in here. Thank you all for joining us for the update. Carolina Blue is up in here. Okay. Mic drop. You got that right. Melissa is here. Miss Melissa is here. Yeah, maybe to make a deal, Miss Lorraine. Who knows? But, ooh, what kind of a deal would that be? What kind of a deal could that be? Could they get bail, Miss Justice says? No. No, not with a heavy double indictment. In this case, no way. No bail. Keep them in the box. Let them sit there. Let their attorneys try to figure out what it is that they want to do in terms of bringing up a defense. I don't see it. I don't see it. They interviewed 50 witnesses, living people who were involved in some way, shape, or form in this case. Having direct and circumstantial evidence presented to the grand jury just to get the first indictment laid on the table. And the DA, Kern County DA, Cynthia Zimmer, that you just got finished listening to, is solid. Solid in the way she presented the case at this press conference. So it appears to me that Jacqueline and Giselle are having a hard time, or their attorneys are, at present, trying to make their not guilty plea have some kind of defense to it. You know, if any one of those minor children were involved in a direct way in harming the boys, with their knowledge of knowing that the boys were being harmed, makes them culpable still anyway. You allowed another child to do this thing, if that's what happened. You commissioned a child to do this thing for you, if that's what happened. You were in the home when this child did this thing to the boys, if that's what happened. Still makes them culpable. It still makes them culpable. They are the responsible parents, adoptive parents of both these boys, period. Now, anything another child does, whether it be biological or non-biological, the parents are still held responsible. And boy, when that child, that minor child, does come to testify, that is going to be the hot button of the case right there. We will know and we will hear exactly what they experienced at the time of the incident that had occurred to both Classic and Cincere. And as far as I'm looking at it right now, I don't see a solid lock, stock, and barrel defense for Jacqueline and Giselle West at this point. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't know. Anybody have any ideas? Here's your defense. What would your defense be? What would your defense be? I didn't do it. Okay. Well, if you didn't do it, who did? You took us well over a year to. We had to chase you down with circumstantial and direct evidence of our own. Let me screen share here for a second. Hold on one second. Uh-oh. John Q is sharing his screen. Lordy, lordy. Yes, I am. You know, when I screen share, I'm starting to get into it now. I wanted to share with you, just to bring back to your memories, infamous truth teller. Thank you for being here. I think they thought it through, and they had figured out that they would never, can't locate the bodies. They can't get tried, excuse me. They can't get tried. I bet you that's what they bet on. Maybe anything short of insanity on this is no justifiable reason for a defense. I hear you, RJ. I hear you. Jacqueline might complain she was forced by Trezell to not stop it. You could be right, Double Rainbow. You could be right. Did the boys ever make it to California City, California? Well, the DA, Cynthia Zimmer, could not state in any way, shape, or form that whether that is a fact or not. What they do know is that the California City Police Department did all of this here in the backyard, along with the FBI, Special Emergency Services, to dig up this backyard in search of evidence of the boys at that time pertaining to the narrative that they put out on December 22nd. And I think that's what they tried to think about, Mary. Well, if there's no body, then there's no crime. Not with today's technology. Not with the 50 witnesses that were interviewed. And now with the second indictment involving a minor based on the commission of a crime, they have a solid witness. That's explosive. And possibly a lesser sentence for giving the location of the bodies. And that could possibly come about too. Now, you heard what the second-degree murder charge holds, at 25 to life. And since it's 2 counts per child, it's 30 to life. That's right, Kim. That's right. You knew what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were doing. My question, let's see if I can get to it. My question at the time of that 911 phone call was, why did Trezell decide to make the phone call at that particular time if the boys were already dead 3 months prior to the call? And the only thing that I could begin to look at and think about was the fact that they were contacted in some way, shape, or form from post-adoption services in reference to a standard post-adoption service visit to the boys, since they had moved from Bakersfield all the way out to California City, California. They would have to go and see, since they weren't involved, ever knew that Jacqueline and Trezell West had moved out of Bakersfield. So whenever you move and you're under an obligation, a communicative obligation to post-adoption services as to the care and the well-being of children that you had just got finished adopting, well, we like to make sure that the living environment is conducive to all the children that you have. So we would like to come to California City, where you are, and visit with you. And hence, that's what triggered the phone call. That would be it was the only thing that stuck out in my mind. They wanted to make a visit. They said, uh-oh, we don't have the boys. Now they want to come? Oh, Lord, what do we do? Well, let's call the cops and say they went missing. And hence, I could have put it together right there. They called 911. California City Police came out, and they're looking, and they had them look all over the place. The neighborhood looked all over the place. The narrative that they told us on how and where they looked, how long they looked, all over the place. But we knew on December 19th that they only had 4 children. We knew December 19th they at least had 4 children. And that was based on video surveillance footage that was taken by the neighbor adjacent to Jacqueline Trezell West's property. Signals, signs, they were being told to us from the very beginning. They were being shown to us at the very beginning. Okay. And I would think they would have some kind of post-adoption service, Miss Lynn, based upon them moving out of the jurisdiction that they adopted the boys in. Adoption was finalized in April. Everyone is out of the picture at that point. But if there was a connection with the bio family, then I need to see a possible visit at holidays. Okay, so there has to be some kind of visitation. Something of a visitation may have triggered Trezell and or Jacqueline to make that 911 call, knowing damn well that the boys weren't with them. That's just my gut feeling. That's just my gut feeling. Yes, because adoption is finalized by the court. The job is done. They're out of the picture. Finito. I got you. I got you. Was it the bio mom that wanted to schedule visitations? Who knows? Was there some kind of visitation scheduled or looking to be scheduled? Who knows? But we'll find out once the court proceedings start in October. That's for sure. That's for sure. Because the story that both Jacqueline and Trezell West had told on December 22nd is totally thrown out the window now. It's totally thrown out the window now. It's crushed based on the evidence that the DA's office had given to the grand jury. Evidence of the video surveillance monitor that the neighbor had caught the night of the 911 call. Evidence. Timestamps. December 19th, 2020 at 11:34 a.m. Also, evidence. Hello, Mr. Boss Blake. Irene Gallo. Thank you for joining us. Evidence. All of this is part of what the grand jury had reviewed. Evidence. How the 4 boys on the 19th were put into the vehicle. Hence, where is Classic and Cincere? Evidence. When they came back that afternoon at 15:46, almost 4 o'clock, 3:45. They didn't have any children that day. Left them in Bakersfield at Grandma's house. Evidence. Wonder what her statement was all about. Trying to see where I put that. Let me go back to my folder here. Nope. Nope. I had everything lined up here. Let me see. Classic and Cincere support documents. Let me see if it's a file within a file within a file within a file. Oh, there we go. Where did I have it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I had everything up here. Okay. Thought I had it up here. But nonetheless, attitudes of the grandparents during the time that the neighborhood was searching for the boys. And this was taken by AV Watchman, Brother Steve, out there looking for the boys, boots on the ground, with several other content creators on YouTube, walking the dog, Chalk, not saying a word or acknowledging any kind of appreciation for them being out there looking for the boys at all. Y'all remember that? I had Steve on my panel. We covered this. Now we have a lawsuit. We have a lawsuit based in a civil proceeding with CPS and a criminal proceeding based on the boys going missing. Y'all remember these photos? How could they be going into an adult store? Oh, okay. Infamous truth teller. Okay. Did you just send me something? Because if it ain't anything you want me to see, I will bring it up. The uncle or the brother of Trezell West. Wonder what he had to say when he heard that his brother was charged with second-degree murder. After all he said on the news, trying to defend his family. Oh, they were getting death threats, people harassing them. Wonder what he's saying now. He will be called to testify. Yes, for sure. One of the 50 witnesses that are involved in this case is his brother. And whether he had any kind of involvement, either direct or indirect involvement, knowing beforehand that these boys were never with his brother, they're going to get that out in trial. When was the last time you saw the boys? Will be asked. What did you do when they went missing? How were you able to assist your brother? Did you assist? What did you do? How did you help? He will be asked questions. John Walker, Chief John Walker, will be there on trial as well. He was a direct police chief in the early investigation, missing persons investigation. He'll be there. And he will outline and lay out exactly what him and his department did to try to find the boys. The news will be there. I'm also sure that Charles Pettus, father of one of the children or both the children, will be there. Biological. Ryan Dean will be there. In fact, excuse me. In fact, I got something. Let me share this with you. I don't know if you've seen this. Caramel Latte, welcome. Alton Harris, welcome. Miss Sophie, welcome. I don't know if you guys seen this, but bring this down here. Clear my screen. Oh, there we go. This was a recent. Oh, we're getting into it. This was a recent, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago. Ryan Dean had spoken to Court TV. Along with her attorney, she finally is starting to come out and speak. She had an interview on Court TV. I don't know if you guys caught that. I found it interesting. Yeah, Melissa, right? Yeah. Will he tell the truth? Will the NAACP back him up? We don't know. We don't know. The fire at the mother's house, Alton Harris, took place in June of 2020. Oh, you're here at the right place at the right time. This is part of the update covering the boys tonight. Okay, you just haven't put up a video yet because I'm trying to be respectful to the case and everything. So I haven't made anything with it. Okay. Okay. Infamous truth teller. So I wanted to share with you what that interview consisted of, what questions were asked, and what answers were given to the best of Ryan Dean's ability. Let me share that with you right now, and then we'll come back and we shall talk about it. So let's go to the interview. And if commercials pop up, I try to mute it so that this way it doesn't show up too much on the live.
The murder of two little boys. We've called them the Cal City Toddlers. Orrin and Orson West are the names that were given to them by their adoptive parents. But you're looking at Cincere and Classic, two little boys who are missing, but those adoptive parents have been charged with their double murder. And before the end of last hour, we ran out of time. We had some technical difficulties, but we were able to get everyone together. So with us, Ryan Dean, the mom of Cincere and Classic, and her attorney, Joaquin McCoy. He's joining us from San Francisco. Ryan is in Dallas tonight. Thanks so much for staying over the top of the hour. We appreciate it. I felt so bad. I didn't want to cut you short. And Ryan, I want to start with you, Ryan. You were describing for us how bad this hurts, losing Cincere and Classic. And I want to back it up a little bit and try to understand what happened. Because my understanding was that when the children were in foster care, you were working with family services and your mom was working with family services, and we're trying to get Cincere and Classic back with their actual family. What was happening there, Ryan?
I did what they asked me to do. I went to parenting classes and I got my parenting certificates, and they wanted me to go to Ebony Counseling, and I did that. I did not complete that. That was for a reason, though. And they just gave up. They just told me they were being adopted. Then they told my dad that they were with a teacher and a lawyer. Then they told my mom that they were fine where they were.
Obviously, that's not true, that they were not fine. They went missing, and those the parents that were given these two little boys by the state are charged with their double murder. It's beyond frustrating, because the purpose should always be to try to reunify with the family. You've got grandma, you've got grandpa, you've got other members there. Did you ever have any interaction, Ryan, at all with Trezell and Jacqueline West, the accused killers?
Not before all of this. No, I know that one time they brought them to visit, and I wrote a letter and I told Jacqueline, I don't know how this is going to go, but when my kids get older, I don't know if they're going to be staying with you guys or whatever, but just show them this letter. I'm not a bad mother. I still want to be in their life. She looked at me like I was crazy, and I don't know if the letter ever got to, well, I know my kids can't read, but I know that I think she threw the letter away. So I didn't matter to them anyways. So I didn't know them though. I did not know them at all until I found out they were missing. I went to Cal City, and that's when I asked what happened.
And what happened when these two were looking at them on the screen here, when they in December reported the boys missing? You went to Cal City. Explain to us what happened. Did you talk to them? Did they talk to you? What happened there?
I went to Cal City, and LaToya, the boys' previous foster placement, knocked on the door, and when I They didn't answer. So I walked down to the end of the driveway, and they answered about after 5 minutes, and Trezell came out with some pocket knives on him, like he was ready to go to war. And I asked him, it startled my spirit for one. And so I asked them what happened, and they came with this fake story, and they couldn't even cry. They had no emotion. They had nothing.
Take a moment, Ryan. Joaquin is still with us as well. Joaquin McCoy, your attorney. I want Ryan to be okay right now. Joaquin, this is puzzling, frustrating, but maddening. And I'm from the outside looking in. I can't imagine what it's like on the inside when you have your children taken from you. You try to work to get them back, and then they're handed over to a couple who had 4 other children who are young, who are clearly in over their heads, but beyond that are now accused killers.
Yeah, I mean, this is a gut-wrenching case. You know, I've been a civil rights lawyer for 28 years, and I've never seen anything like this. What really is concerning is that the state of California or Kern County has not reached out to Ms. Dean to console her, to apologize, or anything. They've been silent in this regard. And in 2016, Congress recognized that the foster care system was broken. It's a $1 billion industry. And what was happening is that these funds were going to the state and the counties, and what they were doing at the local county level was breaking up families. And the Congress said, we're not doing this anymore because you're breaking up families prematurely to put them into foster care and to have them, be placed in adoptions. And so what they said is now we're going to implement, which they did in 2018, the Family First Act. And what that meant is that Congress wanted to protect the preservation of the family. And Kern County was on this old model where clients like Ms. Dean had to prove that their house was safe. And so there's a seismic difference now, seismic change that has taken place, where the county has to prove that foster care is better than their own home, or they have to find someone in the family to take the children. And so Kern County failed in this regard. They did not follow the federal mandates, which they should have.
And Ryan, I was speaking with your mom last hour, and she said that she was preparing a room for the boys as well. And that's blood. That's grandma.
Yes, she had everything. She had it set up so nice for them. Yeah.
Ryan, I'll let you take another moment. We appreciate you coming on. I know this is extremely excruciating for you to think about, your reality, your life right now. Joaquin, explain to me, and I know it won't make sense, but explain to me how grandma was bypassed in this whole process.
I mean, we have a letter sent to her from Kern County in April of 2019, and basically they say to her, "You passed everything. We've looked at your home. You meet all the criteria in there. You did a psychological assessment. Everything that we wanted you to do to get the boys, you met. However, the rep told her in the letter that, well, I talked to my supervisor and we decided to keep the children with the West. There was no reason given why the West should have the children.
Let me ask you this, Joaquin.
No reason.
Let me ask you this. Is there any financial incentive for the county to do that? Is there any financial incentive for the West, for Trezell and Jacqueline to have custody of these boys? That's what I'm wondering about.
Well, clearly foster parents get paid to have, foster kids with them in their home. So they get paid, I think it's $4,000 to $7,000 per kid to be taken care of in their home. With respect to the county, yes, the county is incentivized by the state to take these kids and put them in foster care and then into adoptions. And that there's a number that they get an amount. I think it's $5,000 per kid, but it may be more than that. But what we have found is that Kern County was the largest county to receive funds from the state for the foster care system in terms of adoptions and foster care of the children.
So if I'm following you here, Joaquin, if I'm following you here, and I understand the reason, like we want to do everything we can to protect the children in our community, in our towns, et cetera. But the way this system ends up getting warped is that it incentivizes breaking up biological families and taking children away from biological family members, whether it's mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt. Is that what you're saying here?
That's what I'm saying. And if you look at the numbers, if you look to see how much money Kern County received, say in the year 2019, 2020, it's the third largest recipient of funds behind Los Angeles and San Bernardino counties in the state of California. How is that? How can anyone explain that? This little town of Bakersfield and the surrounding areas is not larger than a county of Los Angeles, but they receive the third largest amount of funds for their foster care program. And it's because you don't get money if you don't put kids into foster care. You get money if you put kids into foster care and adoptions. And that's the old model. There's a new model now, which was mandated by the Family First Act, which you now preserve the family. So we're going to give you this money to preserve the family, not break families apart. And so that's where Kern County and the state failed in this case, because those children should have been back with their family.
Okay. Brian, you got cut off last hour, and I asked you a question, a message that you would send tonight to those accused killers, Trezell and Jacqueline West, who are locked up right now, getting ready to face double murder charges in a trial out in Kern County. Please, now you have time. You're not going to get cut off.
I just feel like they were wrong. My kids did not deserve that. And I honestly really hate them, but it's nothing, they were just wrong.
Ryan, our thoughts are with you. Our prayers are with Cincere and Classic, those little angels. We thank you for joining us tonight. Joaquin, I know Ryan is in good hands, and I know you're going to do everything you can, but it's absolutely frustrating what happened to those boys, and we appreciate you coming on tonight.
And that was the most recent interview with Court TV pertaining to the California City Boys, Classic and Cincere, along with Ryan Dean and her attorney, just giving us a little bit more from the biological mother's side as to what she was going through. And this is a heartbreaking story. And every move that's made going forward on this particular case is only going to break this story out even further. We haven't heard all of it, but I wanted tonight to give you from the perspective of where this case is right now. From the DA's office, Cynthia Zimmer, one that's going to prosecute this case, the defense attorneys that have to defend a not guilty plea from the defendants, Jacqueline and Trezell West, and from the second indictment, that this case is taken on pertaining to manslaughter charges and voluntary manslaughter charges, stating that there was a minor that was involved in the commission of a crime concerning the boys. You see how this case is building? It saddens me even think about what else is there to come. We are just scratching the surface on just what they've been able to make available to the public. It's incredible. Let me see if there was anything else I wanted to share with you. And I want to welcome those that were just joining us moments ago. Liz Hernandez, Tiger Bay, welcome. Carrie Ann, welcome. Sophie is in the house, welcome. Fifi is in the house. Welcome, Fifi. I saw you in there commenting earlier. And Leslie A. Coffee, welcome. I know I got Balance in the house. I said hello earlier. But yes, so this is where the case stands right now. And since they've moved the July 25th opening court case now to October 24th, based on a continuance, a motion made by the West's defense attorney to give them some time to cover the voluminous amount of information this case pertains to, tells me that they are slow, they are not equipped, because they're not on time. That's a problem. And I believe it's going to continue to be a problem for them. Whether they've been assigned to the defendants from the court or these are independent private attorneys, we'll find out. But either way, I'm already seeing a problem on the defense side. How about you? Type a 1 in the chat for yes, 2 for no. If you right now feel that the defense attorneys have a problem. Let's see. Chi-Town Fit Queen says yes. RJ says yes. Miss Justice says yes. Strawberry Kisses says yes. Double Rainbow says yes. 420 Mama, there is no defense. Mary Gannett says yes. Julie S. says yes. Jania says yes. Liz Hernandez says yes. Marley 13 says yes. Miss Fifi says yes. Miss Lynn says yes. Tanya M. says yes. Does the defense attorneys have a problem? In fact, if you have said yes and you feel that they do, I feel so too. Just coming out the gate, not being on time to go to trial, asking for a continuance. Someone's not doing their homework. Someone's not getting this case ready and prepared. Now, what's the positive side to this? The defense team has their work cut out for them. That's for sure, Chi-Town Queen. It will be real hard for them to win this case. I feel that too. Advocate TV has many parents who have had their kids taken. They've completed everything they asked of them and still didn't get their kids back. Most were in worse situations than they were. It's sad. Yes, I agree, Sophie. How do you kill 2 children, then dispose of them and claim manslaughter? Good question. Now, the manslaughter charge comes with and is connected to a minor. one of the West's children were involved in what happened to Classic and Cincere. That's heavy. And will be at trial to testify as to the reason from that commission. Now, when they use the word commission, I had to sit back for a moment and say, okay, they commissioned a child to act on their behalf in some way, shape, or form to apply direct cruelty of some kind to Classic and Cincere. That's heavy. Another child being involved in a second-degree manslaughter charge. Excuse me, not a second-degree manslaughter. It could be involuntary or direct. But a manslaughter charge has now been connected with this case through the second indictment that came down from the grand jury. So they're stacking their cards, folks. They are stacking the cards. Stephanie Paul says yes. Kim Holmes says yes. They got a problem. And I think the problem is that the defense attorneys know damn well that they may be guilty fully of all charges that have been laid on the table by the district attorney's office. And they've got themselves in deep, deep, deep hot water. Well, not hot water. Let's just say some crap. So now they have to go through this voluminous amount of information to try to find areas to pop holes into the DA's case, to try to take some of the heat or the steam out of the original charges as well as the connecting charges in the second indictment. This is the reason why they asked for the continuance recently, and the judge allowed it. I don't think the judge is going to, when they go back to trial on October 24th, will allow another continuance, because this one looks like it's a 90-day continuance, 2.5 months, give or take, but within the 90-day window. You mean to tell me that you're not prepared for trial now? What is the reason? Well, we didn't have enough time to review all of the case information, is what they told him, in short. So, with your honest permission, we would like a continuance so that we can gather all the information, review all the information, and come back with our opening statements, defense statements for our clients. It's pretty much how that went. How you doing, Sophie? Thank you for the smile. And thank you all for the support of today's special live concerning our California City boys. They deserve justice. They deserve to be found so they can get the proper service. And nail Trezell and Jacqueline West and every accomplice that's connected to this case. Nail them, jail them, and put them under the jail. That's just my opinion. We've waited way too long to have this case brought to justice. And then when multiple civil lawsuits going on with CPS, all of this is going to bleed into the criminal case. Just like the information that is present in the Summer Wells case. You've got CPS there that's bleeding over into the missing person case of Summer Wells. And then you have an out-of-state case pertaining to SA charges being brought against Summer's father, Donald, bleeding over into the missing persons case. So you've got 3 train tracks there in the Summer Wells case, and you also have 3 train tracks here in Classic and Cincere's case, because the biological father has filed a civil suit as well. Why weren't these children given to any one of the family members? It just rattles my brain. And here you just heard Ryan Dean's attorney say that one of the family members was preparing their home for the boys. She passed all the requirements and everything. However, I guess timing was a factor. And so they decided to keep the boys with the West family. And that was it. Never giving the biological family or members of the biological family a chance to get the boys. Hence the bottom line here, as we heard her attorney state, that there's money involved. Now, with the boys being missing for 3 months, deceased for 3 months, was Jacqueline and Trezell West still getting paid for the boys? Think about it. Were they still receiving benefits for the boys that were no longer with them? Most likely. Most likely. And so they'll be held accountable for that. They will be held accountable for every action that they had taken and had failed to take in protecting those boys, caring for those boys. The hell did you adopt 2 extra boys next to the 4 you already had? To me, I'm looking at motive for money. Point blank. Motive for money for them, and in a way, there's some strange reason for whatever their reasons are, and we'll hear it during the court trial. Had ever given them a reason to get rid of them? You should have just gave them back. You should have just gave them back. 6 children under the ages of 12. You can imagine the high pressure stress of 2 young parents in their 30s trying to handle 6 kids under the age of 12 in a household when they left Casa Loma Apartments in Bakersfield to go all the way out to California City, California, to the house in which they lived in shortly for 3 months. Wanting to live off the grid came up out of this case, out of Trezell's mouth. Wonder why he wanted to live off the grid. Now we're beginning to find out why. The why starts to show. The why starts to show. They would be receiving money up till March 1st when they were charged. Wow. Thank you, Mary. Wow. Oh, Lord. This is how California, Kern County anyway, handles the adoption process, and only so that they can get credit for next year's federal funding to the state. My goodness. Now, just taking a look at this case independently, how many other times could that be happening in other places, in other states, concerning the foster care system? Just so that they could get credit for budgeting for the next fiscal year. Mm. It's amazing. It truly is amazing. The human behavior, human nature, acting in ways we've never seen before. And these are supposedly professional people working in places we deem a professional agency, providing services to the public, because the public is here paying taxes for those services. And we're paying for that. We're paying for a system that behaves that way. Think about it, folks. Think about it. That is tonight's update. I didn't want to stay too long, but I wanted to share my thoughts with you in tonight's presentation. And so also too, there was one other item I wanted to cover. Thank you all for coming and sharing and being a part of tonight's update. That's right, Sophie. Put them under the jail. Under the jail. I wanted to also share with you. You're welcome, Carolina Blue. Much love to you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Chi-Town, Fit Queen. Thank you, John, for the updates and sharing your perspective. Well, thank you for being here in support of that perspective. Strawberry Kisses. Welcome. I wanted to share with you this too. This is something hot off the press. This is Boss Blake's brand new channel that we are going to be making a heavy contribution to. It is fresh off the press. Community Crime Network, seeking the truth in every case. I posted this on my community wall, I think either yesterday or the day before. He is doing extraordinary work building a community crime network hub for all of the stories that we take on, that he takes on. And he's going to be working these cases just like I work my cases. I know we'll be doing some collaboration along with RJ, and a host of other content creators that want to make their contributions to this very special channel. So please, if you are not subscribed to the Community Crime Network, it was just released by Mr. Boss Blake, please do it now before you leave tonight's live. In fact, just take a minute, jump on over there. If Double Rainbows or one of my moderators can drop that link in there. Oh, thank you, Double Rainbow. Thank you, love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Yes, please put this channel under your belt. A lot is going to be coming out of this channel. In fact, he's already posted a couple of stories on this channel. I was able to capture one of the stories that he's covered, which was this one, regarding the 7-year-old that was found in a washing machine. Found in a washing machine. And that's this story right here with this gentleman right there. It's not a long video. One thing I do appreciate about Boss Blake, he is time sensitive on the information that he puts out on his channel. 2 minutes and 7 seconds, folks, on this video alone. He'll be doing follow-ups, I am most certain of, pertaining to that case. Another case, which was the Georgia Bureau investigation releases Hancock County deputy's body cam. I saw that last night. And this is the body cam footage of a young lady that lost her life in police custody. In police custody. They had her handcuffed and they had to manually put her in a police car. Police car takes off, and lo and behold, For some strange reason, she came out of the car. And they found her on the side of the road. On the road, actually, and then took her to the side of the road, unconscious. She later died. She was in a coma. She died of her injuries. Incredible story. And I know that Mr. Boss Blake is going to be following up and covering the details. That's right there in Georgia. An incredible story. I said, oh, damn. I think I watched this about 4 a.m. in the morning, because I was posting some stuff, wanting to make sure that I was getting today's live all together. And then he just put out one 8 hours ago. The Boy in the Suitcase, Dark Secrets. So as you can see, he's already putting content on his channel. Also, there is new updates on the Kenneka Jenkins case that I have to talk to him about, pertaining to the civil trial that Ms. Teresa Martin is currently involved in. And I believe there's another channel out there by the name of Hell of a Chick. I had just left a post on her latest video giving us the updates from the civil trial court proceedings, and they have been busy. They have been truly busy, but it's getting to a point now, since 2017, folks, when Kenneka, 19-year-old, was found in a hotel kitchen freezer out in Rosemont, Illinois. Getting busy now to get close enough for jury selection and then a trial, civil trial. To wait all the way from 2017 all the way to 2022. Sometimes these cases do take that long. But as for Jacqueline and Trezell West, I'm glad it's in a couple of months now, with a second continuance on the table. Oh yes, so you'll find this and a whole lot more. He's doing a case study on the Kenneka Jenkins case. Look at this. Body cam footage. And I know Mr. Boss Blake doesn't mind if I show and share any of his work on my channel. The Ahmaud Arbery case study. He's got it all here, folks. He's got it all here. And that's what's going to make this channel absolutely incredible to be a part of. So yes, hot off the press, up and running, and he's about the work, because he uses my philosophy. Let's get to work. Much love to you, Mr. Boss Blake. I wanted to make sure that this got out tonight. Most certainly. Please subscribe. So far, he's got, since he posted this, which was, I guess, it's been up less than a week, he's got well over 300 subscribers already. Get him up to 1,000 at least. Let's get him up to 1,000 and really show him our appreciation and love for posting these incredible stories, one after the other. 2 days ago, 1 day ago, 12 hours ago, 8 hours ago. Man is working around the clock. 2 days ago, that's a double story there. Incredible. Thank you, Mr. Boss Blake, for doing that. And not only a man of creative talent when it comes to music, but when it comes to casework like this and the crime network, my hat's off to you. Damn, he's busier than I am. He putting out the work. All right. So yes, please subscribe before you leave tonight. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Show him your appreciation, because in the next 5 or 10 minutes, he can go back and check the subscriber count and know that we are going to make an impact together as a team. As a team, we're tying all the content creators into this as well. But this is my first shout out tonight about the brand new channel, Community Crime Network, hosted, produced, and arranged by Mr. Boss Blake. It's getting hot, folks. We are in the middle of summer, but it is getting hot, and we are turning up the heat. No doubt. No doubt. Yes. Oh, great. 12 new subs. Great. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. 314 right now. Great. Let's get it up. Fed up. How you doing? Praying for justice is served. Yes. Yes. And you don't want to miss any of Boss Blake's other programs on his channel. It's amazing the kind of work that he produces on his channel. That's a second brand new channel. So he's operating not only 2 channels on YouTube, but also a webpage too, where he's covering his music. He'll be able to tell you all about that. He'll be able to tell you all about that. In fact, I'm going to be contacting him in reference to lining up the return of Table Talk. I've already spoken to a couple of content creators. We're getting into it now. And I will be putting that, making sure that that program is scheduled for Sundays. I'm not sure what time yet, based on the time availability of the content creator. But we'll work things out. But Sundays will be scheduled, going back to the return of Table Talk. In fact, if you haven't seen the work that Mr. Boss Blake has done regarding Table Talk and the video theme, well, let me share that with you right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to John Q's Table Talk. Let's go. Here at Table Talk, everybody's opinions matter, because we only here for one reason, and that's the truth. Cue the truth! So many cases we've been facing, so many kids that have been taken. You got ours and you got on. Some of wells I just can't take it. We never see John hesitate. A hard to go you can't replace. So Table Talk gon' be the place where we break down all the basics. You don't need no reservation, open mind, a little face. That's why we work another case. Kids go missing every day. We know the news, they do their thing, but John gon' come through in the bank. But this is show for all of us, so let us know just what you think. For Table Talk, it's time to go to work. Let the people know that John is going live. It's time for Table Talk. Yeah. It's time for Table Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Mr. John Q. Y'all show him some love, man. Yeah. Let's go to work tonight.
Table Talk will be returning this Sunday with a very special guest and close friend of mine. She's been working on a number of cases at different levels. I'm not going to tell you who it is. You got to be here. And I've already been in contact with her, and she is most certainly looking forward to it. So, yes. And also, one more thing. Please, one more time, Double Rainbows, if you can drop RJ's channel in the room called the Conversations Living Room. RJ. Yes, thank you, Double Rainbows. Thank you. His channel is starting to boom, and if you're not subscribed to RJ's channel, please do it before the live is over. He has phenomenal content growing on his channel. We're in constant contact with each other. And all you really got to do is click that link to his channel and just hit the subscribe button. Help his channel grow tonight as well. We've done a number of lives together, and he's put out some sensational content. I just want to share that with you. Let me go. And this is what it looks like. That way, when you either click the link or the tab itself, it's right there. Conversations Living Room with RJ. He's covered a number of cases. The Summer Wells case we've spoken about, the Uvalde, Texas shooting we've talked about, Buffalo, New York. We've talked about. His channel is growing. It is growing tonight. He's got 169, I believe, so far. We want to help him grow too. So go over here and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. He doesn't go live every day, 3 and 4 times a day. He's very time sensitive and specific when he goes live. He's like me, when you're ready, you go live. We don't spend the day or the evening for 24/7 going live because we got nothing else better to do. All we want is your super chats and stickers and all this other stuff. We already know what's going on with that, but yeah, definitely help him to grow tonight. I'm sure that when we take a look back at 169, his numbers will also go up, as well as Mr. Boss Blake's Community Crime Network channel, which I think is awesome. Both of these channels are awesome. And I wanted to make sure that I shine some light on the content creators that I enjoy working with and listening to. So yeah, surprise Mr. RJ, and raise his numbers here tonight. Show him how much you truly appreciate him. I'm sure there are a number of you that have actually listened to RJ speak, and he's very focused. He puts it out there just like I do. He puts it out there like I do. Oh, we got Leslie B in the house. Much love to you. Jennifer Marie is in the house. Much love to you. My goodness. There we go. We're getting the subs up. Okay. I don't like to call them subs. I like to call them viewers. You guys support our channels like you would not believe. Like I said, my channel is not monetized. I don't like commercial interruptions when I post things. So that's why you get the story in its entirety. That's one thing I enjoy. And one thing I know that Boss Blake's channel is monetized. And I don't know about RJ as of yet. But, we're small channels looking to grow. And in ways that complement our viewers. So without you, we wouldn't exist. Each viewer in this chat right now is our oxygen to the channels that we have. And without your oxygen, we don't exist. That's just my metaphor. Laura Croft is in the house. Laura. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us. Jennifer Marie. I hate I wasn't here at the beginning. I know. But thank you for the comment. I got your comment. Leslie B, much love to you. I miss you. You guys rock all the time. All the time. So yes, be sure tonight, folks, before you leave tonight's chat, please just take 2 seconds and subscribe to 2 channels, just 2. And let's see what happens, because we're going to put out the work. We're putting out the work. I know you see that. We want you to be a part of something special. You have been a very special part of my channel, each and every single one of you. And for those key supporters that I've mentioned earlier in the live, Marley 13, much love and thank you once again for the gift that you sent me. Miss Oklahoma is still a part of our team, and she sends her love all the time. Miss Leslie B always sends love all the time. It's like, how do they know I'm getting ready to go live? It's like they have that extra scent, like the sixth scent, but women's intuition always works. How's that? How is that? And so, yes, along with rainbows, double rainbows, is always here before I am. Even tonight. So wait a minute. Okay. We're going to start in a half hour. That's okay. I got your channel hooked up. I'll just go back here in the kitchen and grab something to eat. Come on back and go to work. And that's the best. I saw 2 Raw TV, up in here. Good to see 2 Raw. Had some time to drop by. Who else did I see? My goodness. A number of folks that definitely dropped by to show love and support of the work that we're doing here for the California City Boys. Yes, they do deserve justice. And don't worry, Miss Leslie B. I know you got to start the live from the beginning, but I'm trying to make the live shorter and not go beyond a 3-hour point. I think I did pretty good tonight. We're at 2:17. I said, even if I flex to about 2 and change, maybe 2:30, a little bit before 2:30, I'll be okay. So that this way we can have folks have the time to view the content and leave commentary under the video. I've been getting some very pleasant commentary under the videos, so it tells me exactly how I'm doing. The other thing too, I'm beginning to, as you've noticed, I'm beginning to channel out the spam out of the chat room. I've been working back behind stage in the studio, typing in block words to where it reduces the amount of spam that comes into the chat room to try to interrupt and distract the conversation that we're having. So as you can see tonight, floors are clean. You have no idea of how many damn words I had to put into those boxes. I had to think of every bad word that I have learned, even in Spanish, to stick in there so that this way those words can be blocked too. So that we, yeah, the bots, yeah, they're crazy. Just to interfere with conversation that people are having, my God. And really, there's nobody really interested in that garbage, but it's just there as just a distraction. So I'm working hard to reduce as many distractions as possible. I have the best mods on my channel, supporting the channel, holding the channel down. And I have to do my best as a host to make sure that they don't work too hard trying to delete and block out some of the garbage that used to show up in here. But I'm learning new words, and I have to put those new words into the block box so that this way we can have a nice, comfortable, smooth live every time we do. I did speak, here's another update. I did speak with Mr. David Robinson on the phone just recently. We will be coming back with an update on the Daniel Robinson case. If you have not subscribed to David's channel, please help find Daniel on YouTube. Please do. He is going to be covering some update information, I believe, on Wednesday. And then anytime after Wednesday, I left him a voice message today in regards to our update live for my channel for either Wednesday night or either Thursday or Friday of this week coming. So I will be posting that as soon as I get the green light from David regarding the day and time. So look for that live, because that is going to be a very, very important and interesting live. He's still looking for Daniel since June 26th of 2020, 8 days later after Summer went missing. But there are some great developments happening in this case, the Daniel Robinson case. And I'm going to have him join me on panel to share that with you and all the new developments that has occurred pertaining to that case. So yes, you don't want to miss that. Thank you, Double Rainbows, for kicking it out there. My goodness. Yes, well done, Q. I knew there was a way. I noticed the clean floor. I was listening to Soul Sounds. The filth was all over it. Oh my God, I can imagine. I can just imagine. Yes, and thank you, Miss Lynn. I did good. I did good so far, and with the love and support that I have from my moderators, and they do email me from time to time with updates and commentary based on how I could do my lives better. Did get a commentary to say they could be shorter. Okay. You got to do something about those bots. I will. Maybe if you had a few other moderators. I did. Our newest moderator is Miss Justice. She just got a blue dress the last live we did. So Miss Justice takes care of Anita's World over there at Anita's channel and does a fabulous job. So we welcome Miss Justice to the family here. She's officially in blue. Going to hold it down too until we get done and through. Absolutely. So with that said, folks, if there are any other questions or comments based on tonight's live pertaining to the California City Boys, Classic and Sincere, I wanted to keep it short, nice and tight, and just give you where we are today. We're looking forward to the October 24th court date. Hopefully they will get on with it so that we can get through it and justice be served, just like in the Ahmaud Arbery case, just like in the George Floyd case, just like that. Put the handcuffs on them after they've been tried and found guilty on all counts, hands down. Hands down. Because the only place for these two is jail. Period. Period. End of story. No further discussion needed. No further commentary needed. And once you get them in, put them under it. And anyone that assisted them. counseled with them, influenced them to evade the police and law enforcement for so long, only to have them taken into custody in the month of March and have the DA from the grand jury hand down a second-degree murder charge. That's a big one. That's the one you want to stick, because all the rest will follow right after that one. You nail them on the strongest one possible, all the rest domino into place. I wonder yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Mary, you said it. Wicked Wanda needs to be charged. She could be an accomplice in some way, shape, or form. His father could be accomplice too, Philip. Because if they aided and abetted in any way, shape, or form, along with his brother or any other family member, they're going down too. That's going to be a big room sweep, I'm telling you. I am telling you. Now with the second indictment, I mean, that's tighter than ever. Now, if they only tell where the boys are, which I believe they know where these children are. They not only would know what happened, they know where they put them. They know exactly where they put these boys. And I hope that comes out. Because if they find them and they're able to bring them back for final services, this would be a slam dunk shut case. Period. For two people in their 30s who took a chance to adopt two brothers into an already 6-person household and do what they did to those boys, under the jail they should go. How many of you agree? Type of 1. Under the jail they should go. All charges stuck to stick. Type of 1 in the chat if you agree. Carrie Ann, there we go. Miss Mary, I call you Miss Mary G. Leslie B. Aurora. Carrie Ann said absolutely. Chi-Town Fit Queen, absolutely. RJ, absolutely. Pottersfield is too good for them. You got that right. Carrie Lawson, yes. Mr. Boss Blake, solid. Miss Lynn, absolutely. Yeah, that's what they should do, Laura. That's exactly what they should do. Tell where the boys are and get this over with. Get this over with. So I want to thank everyone for joining me here tonight. And we'll be back in our next live with Mr. David Robinson, covering continued coverage of the Daniel Robinson case. I'm very excited about that. We'll give you not only update, but for those new to the case, we'll recap that information, case information with you, and bring you up to speed. There's some great things happening for Mr. David Robinson so far, but I'm going to let him tell you. I ain't dropping nothing. I'm not going to drop nothing. And we'll proceed and continue our work here on my channel when it comes to Q and the truth. Well, you know who does that best. Me, John Q. Thank you to all and every viewer that has supported tonight's live. Much love once again goes out to Mr. Boss Blake and his new channel, Community Crime Network. Please subscribe. Mr. RJ Conversations Living Room. Please subscribe. The return of Table Talk is in motion. I'm excited about that too. Please make sure you're here. If you're not subscribed to my channel, just hit that subscribe button, put the bell on. I won't take up a whole lot of your time, but I'll try my best to give you what you come for, something of value, which I always try to do. With that said, much love, be well, and stay blessed with Godspeed. Much love to all my moderators that are here tonight. Leslie B., I love you, I love you, I love you. Thank you so much for being in here. I miss you. Double Rainbow for holding it down. Mr. Boss Blake for holding it down. Who else I had up in here holding it down? I know that we had a number of them, but it's good to see everybody. It's good to see everyone. And you're holding me down all the time. With that said, you know what time it is. Let's go to work. Be good. Till next time.